Homecoming. Say it again. Homecoming. That's how you need to say it. NXT Homecoming. They were betting on nostalgia, and that's what they did. And if I'm right, most people who watch this show will be nostalgic for Black and Gold. They will be fine with what happened with Triple H and HBK. They'll be fine with most of the people that showed up. But if you're going to look at it for what it really is it good nostalgia? Does it really give us anything for the future of NXT? I'm going to tell you, no. I don't want to explain first. Before we get into the show, let me explain what I mean now. I don't need to explain it after my review. When you look at current NXT, which is 3.0, we already know Triple H is running it. Even though when they show the credits, showing Triple H, show HBK, and showing leavr, I believe his name is leavr, I keep forgetting. 3 people who are the executive producers of it. We know only one person is making the final decisions. That's Triple H. So what you see here is what he wants to present and what he's allowed to present. Let's make this very clear. Many people do not understand. They don't. Triple H is still reporting to whoever is running currently Silver Lake WWE. And he's going to produce it the way they want. And currently, you look at Raw, look at SmackDown, and you look at NXT. It is produced to make the most out of money, not to produce the best wrestling. Because if you look at what we got, like with, well, look at Triple A's show, which was on YouTube. When Worlds Collide on YouTube. Wasn't Triple A supposed to be important? It isn't. If it was important, it would have its own PLE with pretty much American commentators with a mix of American wrestling and Mexican AAA wrestling. No, you got a little bit of it, but it's on YouTube. YouTube. If AAA meant anything to the new Silver Lake WWE, they would have done a PLE for it. They don't care about it. You look at Raw. What does it have? It's got AJ Lee, CM Punk, Becky, and Seth Rollins. I'm being slow with it on purpose because that's it. Every other storyline that is currently on the show doesn't really mean anything. Look at SmackDown. The same thing. What do you really have on SmackDown? Legitimately, what do you have? Not John Cena. John Cena's done. He has 6 more appearances. He's already done his time when he was on SmackDown last Friday. That's it. He will never appear on SmackDown again unless he's just coming back for nostalgia. He's not wrestling there anymore. All he'll do is whatever's on Raw and whatever appearances that are left for him, which are only 6. When it comes to the wonderful OTC, what is he doing now? He's off doing another movie, I believe. He doesn't have a constant flow of stuff. So when you look at what we have on SmackDown, you got Cody Rhodes. That's it. And there ain't that much behind that either. So look at NXT. Let's go back to NXT. And now let's look at what we got. The opening NXT, we got HBK. Well, generally we had Triple H who came out first. Then we had HBK that came out second. Then you have William Regal come out. All of them saying something. All of them talking about, well, technically William Regal just said War Games. Now, does that mean we will get War Games? No. But that is what he used to do. To try and settle problems, he always said War Games in black and gold. And why did he do that? It's because he asked Shawn, and this is Triple H, Paul himself said, you know, what would happen if I said, I want back in NXT? And HBK said, we're going to have a problem. And that is when William Regal said, there's only one way to solve this. And someone took his line and said, that's my line. Don't say that. War Games. This is all nostalgia. Was it good nostalgia? It was okay. Then what we get a match between Charlotte, between a... Let me give it to you like this. Seeing that the Culling had a match, wouldn't it have been nice that they win it? Wouldn't it have been nice to see them build into it? Well, technically, they did have the tournament to go and see who's going to be facing the champions. But did they feel important while they were doing it? To a certain extent, yes. But if it was that important, wouldn't it have been good to put them on SmackDown or Raw? And just build it up here? Give a chance to Izzy Dane and Tatum Paxley to have a moment on the main roster. Why would they not put on the main roster for a little bit? And have that moment. Yes, you could still have the match in NXT, but wouldn't it have been good to see them more on the main roster? We didn't see them on the main roster, from what I understand. Unless I'm wrong and you guys saw them, I didn't see them on the main roster of SmackDown or Raw to do a match there to show that they're worthy of it. Just NXT. And the match itself was fine, but I didn't expect the champs to lose. Because this is really not about changing the championships. It's nostalgia. Next, we had another tag match. DIY versus Mello and Carmelo. Mello and I'm doing Mello. Let me give it to you like this. Did Trick Williams feel important? No. Reason I said Carmelo and Carmelo was it felt more about it being about Carmelo Hayes than Trick Williams as the current TNA World Champion. And that kind of goes along with near the end of the show, which I'm going to just do all the matches, and I'm going to talk about that. But when you look at this match, and it was not a bad match either, and I want to make this clear, all the matches on the show were good. But this was not about DIY. This was not even about Trick Williams. This was about Mello and Miz, because what happened at the end? You got Miz screwing over Johnny Gargano. And that means this was about trying to make sure that Mello and Miz look good when they'll have a storyline on the main roster against DIY, because they got nothing going for Miz and Mello, and they got nothing going for DIY right now. And since DIY, well, technically Johnny Gargano, had some history with the Miz, they're going to use that to make a storyline on the main roster, which they got nothing for them anyway. So this was more about making Mello look good with The Miz so they can have a story with DIY. That's where it looks. And the one that really gets a short change here is Trick Williams, who's currently the TNA champion. Moving on to the third match. We have the match I was very interested in looking at. Prince Pretty, Tyler Breeze versus Ethan Page. Now here's the problem. For me personally, why couldn't you get... It hurts me to know they brought back Tyler Breeze, Mr. Prince Pretty, who was with Breezango. If you don't know, Breezango was one of the most entertaining tag teams they had next to New Day back in the day. In some cases, they were more entertaining than New Day was. And whenever they worked together, New Day and Breezango was fun. And now you bring him back after so many years. You ask him to come back. He comes back. You don't give him a couple of weeks to build into Ethan Page. You just have 1 week. He shows up, and that's it. Barely any advertisement. And he gets this match. And if this is him returning, it sucks. Because he doesn't get a vignette much, other than tonight. He doesn't really feel important when he should be. Now, will he be staying beyond this? I don't know. And I kind of wish he would. To be honest, I kind of wish he had gone to TNA. If he's wrestling again, which maybe he is. Because if I remember correctly, in an interview with Chris Van Vliet more than a year and a half or 2 years ago, because it's kind of hard to remember. I think it's been at least a year and a half since I saw that interview. He's currently not been wrestling. He's been doing real estate, and he's been really happy with it. But he said, I don't know if I'm going to go back. I still loved it, but I don't know if I'm going to go back. Now he's gone back. He didn't have a warm-up match. He just had this. And he lost to Ethan Page, even though he did very well. People loved seeing Tyler Breeze. Now, does that mean he'll come back? Like I said, I don't know. But I would have liked to at least seen Tyler Breeze given more than what he had. It just felt like nostalgia. A quick smack of nostalgia on our asses. That's what it felt. Final match. Fatal Influence versus Lyra Valkyria, Stephanie Vakir, and Rhea Ripley. So you had one of the oldest members of the women's roster that was still there, and that was Rhea. Then the one who left maybe a couple of years ago, and that was Lyra Valkyria, about roughly a year ago. And then you got Stephanie Vakir that really didn't even spend any time on the NXT roster, barely, and they gave her 2 titles, 2 of them. And she had no character development. At least I can say with Lyra, she's gotten character development since she's been on the main roster working with Becky. But Stephanie's got nothing. And mommy is mommy. Let's make it very clear. Who doesn't love mommy? I don't care. I love that. That's still mommy. Match was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. And who lost? It was a JC James due to the fact to the back fist of a Lola Vice, because No Mercy is what we got. It's fine. The build-up going to No Mercy wasn't 100% bad with this little interaction because they're going to have it soon. But let's make this very clear. What we just got in the back for most of it was nostalgia. And then we get the one thing I'm shocked about. The lack of care for TNA. And I'm saying that as someone who is reviewing TNA on a constant basis. As someone who says TNA is doing better booking than Raw, SmackDown, even AEW's Dynamite is not giving us great booking. And weirdly enough, and I'm not tooting the horn of TNA, I've been heavily critical of TNA, as everyone who's seen me for years knows this. I don't play around. I'll tell you what's going on. But their booking has been decent. It's not been greater due to the fact that it's the most best booking you've ever seen. No. It's basic one-on-one booking that is at least better than Raw, SmackDown, to an extent easily NXT, and Dynamite. 4 different shows, 2 different companies, and this company that's collaborating with one of them is giving us better booking. And it shocks me. Now, let's go on to what we got here. Let me give you this. When you see Devon Evans talking with Sami Zayn, and you also got Damian Priest talking with Tavion Heights, they're trying to build them up. Trying to show that, okay, we have an interest in these guys. And seeing that Devon Evans is still fighting with Josh Briggs is fine. And then seeing that Tavion Heights at No Mercy is now going to have a match with Ethan Page. Fine. Okay. I'm alright with that. Because they're trying to make Tavion Heights mean something. Trying to make Devon Evans mean something. And they put 2 people they think identify with them the best with Devon Evans. They use Sami Zayn. They thought that they're as very similar, at least in their character development. With Devon Evans, I'm not really feeling it. I think it's more Evan Bourne would be more better with Sami Zayn due to the fact that due to doing the hearing bit, I would have thought that would have been better with that. And you could have done Finn Balor with Devon Evans because I think Finn would have fit more better with Devon. He could have taken on the persona of the demon then because of how his hair. Look, I got a braid. You actually could have done something with that. But that's just me. But then you see them talking, it's alright. But it's like, do I agree with the booking? Do I agree that Tavion Heights should get that spot again? Well, in this case, yes. Do I believe Devon Evans needed that rub from Sami Zayn? No, I think he should have got it from Finn Balor. Do I believe Finn Balor would have been better with Evan Bourne? Yes. Not Finn Balor. I mean Sami Zayn. Yes. I think Sami Zayn would have been better with Evan Bourne, and Finn Balor would have been better with Devon Evans. That's what I truly believe would have been better for both of them. Now, let's get to the 50, and I know you're gonna say, wait a minute, what about what happened with the destruction of Lexus King by the coup de grace? That gave him a bit of a rub, but to be honest, I don't know what they're gonna do with Lexus King anyway. I'm not sure. But the one thing I'm very curious about, what they're going to be doing here. The Grayson Waller effect. And using Grayson Waller as a catalyst to do something that literally shows wrestling fans from TNA, if they notice this, that TNA is not really being cared about the way you think. Now, what did we get with Grayson Waller? The build-up between how did Obafemi sound compared to Ricky Saints? Ricky Saints is way better talker. Let's make it very clear. Ricky's a better talker than him. It's not because Obafemi can't speak English. It's just that he's way more charismatic. He's been in wrestling longer, and his persona has been developed well before him, particularly when I saw him in NWA, and he was the NWA television champion. I knew then in 2018, I say this again, I've seen him at NWA when he became champion in 2018. I knew there was something special about him. I knew it. And he went to AEW, and now he's here, and it still shows. He is charismatic. He does have something people will go for. And he's just needs more development. He hasn't been in the business as long as Ricky. So he needs more time to develop, particularly that sooner or later he's going to drop that title and they're going to have to do something more with him than just being a dominant monster. Because this is what people don't understand. When you become dominant like that, sooner or later you fall off. And what makes you a great pro wrestler is how you use being fallen off to rebuild yourself into something new. It's not just the material you get, it's how you take that material and make it. And that's going to be the big question with Obafemi. If he can take mostly crappy booking and try to turn it into something with his personality, the way he holds himself, the way he'll work the ring, the way he'll speak, is the big question. Because they booked him very dominant. But being booked very dominant does not mean you're going to get anywhere. Look at Ahmed Johnson. Ahmed Johnson, if you remember him years ago, he was one of the most dominant men you could see that was in the ring. They made him a monster. But when they tried to move him away from it to try and build his character in another way, he fell next to screwing up. He screwed himself up. But the booking, he just couldn't make the booking work. So Obafemi's got a lot of work to do. But then, what did we get here when it came... let me give it to you like this. When I heard Trick come out, and I'm going, uh-oh. Are they going to do something in a triple threat at No Mercy? No. They decided, in their incredible judgment, and that is WWE and TNA agreeing, is that at this No Mercy, you're going to have Ricky Saints face the new double champion of TNA and NXT. The match that they decided to do here, where you're going to have Obafemi versus Trick Williams. And the winner of that is going to No Mercy as the double champ and will face a Ricky Saints, probably for the NXT championship, because I don't think he's going to be getting both titles. Let me give it to you like this. And yes, I know I could say, well, they're really building TNA. Look what happened. We got Bobby Roode talking with Joe Henry saying you need to try and get that North American championship. Or World Championship from Obafemi. I think he said World Championship. And that ain't going to happen now. But still, that is what they've been talking about. This is the thing. So many months ago, the question I had was, what are we going to get? Wait and see. There were people who said, oh, we're going to see a whole bunch of wrestlers on one side and coming to the other side. We're going to see our championship in the hands of TNA. Or better yet, NXT is going to be on our show. We're going to have the title. Has that happened yet? No. In fact, the TNA title has now gone to NXT. And the majority of the work is going to be done on NXT. And the key here is this. Let's make it very clear. Do I believe Uber Femi is going to win? No. I'm foreshadowing this right now. Unless I'm wrong, fine. I'll be wrong. I'll eat crow. I'm wrong. But the way it looks is like this. The person that may win and should win should be Trick Williams. You know why? You will have Trick Williams go to Bound for Glory holding the TNA World Championship and the NXT Championship. And he will face Mike Santana. That is the way it should be. If they really want to make this collaboration to happen between each other, NXT, TNA, you need to have the current champion of NXT on Bound for Glory. It's not just having the title there, because if Uber Femi wins, you're going to have Trick Williams go to Bound for Glory with no damn title. And it's going to be Uber Femi who's going to go there holding the NXT title. That's obvious it's going to happen. If Trick doesn't win, Uber Femi is going to go there. But the person who's built up all of this work that has been doing between NXT and TNA with this championship is Trick. Whether you like Trick or not, Trick is the only person that can make this look good on Bound for Glory. If they do it Uber Femi, it is a very stupid decision they make. But then it makes you think, yes, there's a strong chance that Santana could get back the TNA title. But haven't you noticed that this collaboration is very one-sided? I said this very long time ago. Wait and see, how is this going to work? How is TNA going to benefit from this? And what will happen if the TNA collaboration with WWE ends? Currently as it stands, TNA is just being used as a machine to give more content. And again, as I said, and I said this earlier, Silver Lake WWE does not care about making wrestling. They care about using wrestling to make money. Again, I say this to people, even though no one's questioned me. There is a difference between producing wrestling and using wrestling to make money. Both, you're doing wrestling, but one is passionate about making wrestling the best it can be and trying to get the most money out of it. And the other is just doing whatever will make them money. They don't really care about trying to build the next generation of wrestlers. They don't care about trying to give the wrestling fans the best shows. And definitely doesn't care about the best wrestlers that can give the most merchandise. They're only caring about what will make the most money. Doesn't matter if it's somebody else. If they're going to see someone making money, they're going to stick with that person. Because as long as they get a good steady of money, and sometimes they get a boost, that's all they care about. The next generation, they really don't care. They don't care if the next generation comes at all, as long as the person that's making great money is there. Now, if something happens to that person, of course they'll bring them in. But that's only because they had no choice to bring them in. Unlike wrestling, when you see someone popular, you switch them immediately in some cases to build them up, to keep them near the top. In WWE, that doesn't happen. You don't have anyone in that type of position. Not with Roman. Not with Jay. Jay is not one of the best wrestlers, but he's one of the best people that moves some merchandise. And that's all they matter to them. This. So we're not getting what we want. Real wrestling. But it's just me. Peace.